A plurality of the people being killed by the Russians are Russian speakers. Because the invasion, as everybody knows, is in the east and in the south. Mariupol, the city of Mary that was devastated, a city of 400,000, which was besieged, deprived of, water, electricity. And this was at the tail end of the winter this year, where between 20 and 100,000 people were killed. Nobody knows because the Russians brought in incinerating cremation machines. And they would just put the bodies into these mobile crematorias. So nobody will ultimately ever know how many people were killed. This city was the most Russian-speaking city of Ukraine. And the Russians came to liberate them from life, liberate them from their homes, liberate them from their very city. It's really unfathomable. And the big difference is there have been genocides throughout human history. This sin of Adam grabs. God gives. God gave. He said, Adam, you got it all. It's all yours. Live and live with me forever. Just Adam, don't grab for the fruit from that tree because it'll kill you. And what does Adam do? He turns away from the word of the Lord and makes the grab. That is the typology of sin, doing this instead of living like this. This is empire. This is colonialism. This is slavery. When I say I own you, you have to live as I say. Whereas God does this. This is the gesture of the Father to the Son in the Holy Spirit. Communion and giving. It is unfathomable that a Christian leader, a Christian church today in the 21st century is preaching the grab and saying, you belong to us. The Russian world, everywhere the Russian army is set its boot, this will be the territory of the Russian Orthodox Church. And people are rebelling against that. And that is what is stimulating the investigation of the Ukrainian branch of the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. And this is where Mr. Carlson, Tucker Carlson, who has a big pulpit, is...
I missed this. What did he say?
Tucker Carlson said that President Zelenskyy, in moving against the collaboration of the Orthodox Church that is allied with Kirill, who is proclaiming jihad against Ukraine, Zelenskyy is a dictator. He says Zelenskyy is persecuting Christianity. Now there's a lot of Christians. There's about 100 different groupings, many Protestant groupings, the Eastern Catholics, the Roman Catholics, the big two Orthodox jurisdictions. There's Jews, they're Orthodox, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, and the confessions get along in Ukraine. There's the All-Ukrainian Council of Churches and Religious Organizations, which has been in existence for 25 years, which almost does not have a parallel in other countries. The churches get together every 6 months. The head of one of these religious confessions is the leader. I think it's the Armenian. I'm not sure, but right now, the head of the Armenian Church, Orthodox Church. And but I could be wrong. Sorry. Check. Fact checkers. They don't talk about doctrine. They talk about the social issues. There's great plurality, great diversity, but great solidarity in Ukraine. The problem is if one of the churches abets the aggression. If one of the churches historically, for centuries, and in recent decades, and in recent years, has paid allegiance to Moscow, that can be tolerated if Moscow is neutral. But if the head of the Russian Orthodox Church is blessing the killing in Ukraine, there's a big, big problem, which is a spiritual problem, and it's also a state problem.
So what is it, in fact, that Zelenskyy did with this church?
So Zelenskyy has said that we need to move in the direction that churches that have their administrative center in Moscow cannot have a legal existence in Ukraine.
Okay. And from all you've shared with me, that sounds more than reasonable. And so Carlson is, in your estimation, twisting this to make it seem like Zelenskyy is going to war with Christians, which feeds into the larger narrative of Ukraine being a leftist, westernized.
He's applying the standard in civil and free societies during peacetime that we would expect to Ukraine during wartime. So basically, the liberties that we would accord to any denomination, the Seventh Street Baptist Church in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that they would have the same liberties accorded to them as the Orthodox and the Baptist Church in town. During wartime, if it turns out that Seventh Street Baptist Church is an active collaborator with the Communist Party of China, they can expect to have some of their liberties rescinded, and there's going to be some visitation from the police. And that's the same thing that's happening in Ukraine, is that it's a nation at war, and not just at war, but it's fighting for its very existence.
The dishonesty of Carlson is he doesn't explain at all. He doesn't say that Kirill is blessing the war. He doesn't say that Kirill has said, listen, Russian soldiers, if you die attacking Ukraine, you will go to heaven. He doesn't speak about the fact that all these atrocities are being accepted and encouraged implicitly by the center of the Russian Orthodox Church. It's as if we're on equal footing. Ukraine is a peaceful country. It declared its independence in 1991. There was a plebiscite. Over 90% of the population, 91 point something percent of the population voted for independence. In 1994, Ukraine, with Belarus and Kazakhstan, became the first countries to ever give up nuclear weapons. Nobody's done it before, and nobody's done it since. Ukraine had about 900,000 soldiers in 1991.
900,000?
900,000.
Okay.
By 2014, that was down on paper to about 150,000, of which 10% were battle ready. So when Russia annexed Crimea and invaded eastern Ukraine, there were only 15,000 battle ready troops. Now those who have been in the army or are in the army, veterans who can still continue defending the country, and those who are on the front or otherwise in dislocation, it's 1 million people, because Ukrainians are flocking to their defense of the innocent, of the cities, of their families, of their businesses. Ukraine does not want 1 square inch of Russian territory. Ukraine has no interest in keeping Russians from speaking Russian, Orthodox being Orthodox. But Ukrainians today have said, empire is over. Colonization is over. We're not going to be slaves. The Russians are not going to tell us what to do, no matter how many nukes they have, no matter how much oil they have. We have God-given dignity. we're loved by the Lord, and we're recognizing this dignity, and we're not going to bow our heads before a slave owner. Can you imagine Americans becoming a colony of Britain, Algeria of France, Peru of Spain? Can you imagine blacks saying, we will enter into slavery again? Ukrainians are saying it's over. It's over. And it's liberty or death.
Thanks so much for watching. Please like if you liked, and if you loved, subscribe.